Nerdy is defined as someone characterized by an obsessive interest in something. Xbox, Marvel, technology, D&D, Lord of the Rings, escape rooms, Pokemon, Funko Pop, Star Wars, PlayStation, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Nintendo, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. All of that is Tech D Rob, host of the Nerd News Podcast, your source for everything nerdy.
I realize you guys are all nerds.
And this is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome to the Nerd News Podcast. I am your host, Tech D Rob. As you can see, my microphone is back today. I just don't like the way the headset microphone kind of popped my words. I saw an email from my bank that said I'd received money and I was confused, but my brother paid me some money for the phone bill. But this is the Nerd News Podcast again, using the microphone again instead of the headset. It kind of clipped my words a little bit, so I'm gonna try it with this again this week. Maybe I can troubleshoot the other thing at a later date. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but we'll figure it out, and we'll get into that at another time. That is not when I'm recording this podcast. So let's get to the quick hits. There are a lot of video games coming out this week. So before we get to the 1st of November, which is Wednesday, the Resident Evil Village and expansion to that game are available on iOS as of Monday. Today, however, a game called Jusant, maybe Jusant, is out on next-gen consoles and PC. Then on November 1st, we have Alien Hominid Invasion for the Xbox consoles, Switch, and PC. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, is out on current and next-gen Xbox and PlayStation that day as well, along with Switch and PC. Blasphemous 2 makes its way November 2nd, which is Thursday, on to previous generation PlayStation and Xbox. For the King makes its way to PC. Plate Up is up on next-gen consoles and Switch. Power Wash Simulator makes its way to Quest. RoboCop Rogue City, which is a game I've not heard anything about until last week, to be honest with you, is on next-gen consoles, Switch, and PC. This is a little bit beside the point, but whenever I see a game that is also coming out on next-gen consoles and Switch, I doubt the quality of that game. The Switch is just not a good console for these games that the next-gen consoles are touting. It's a Nintendo console. It's good for Nintendo stuff, and that's pretty much it. Star Ocean: The Second Story R is out on PlayStation consoles along with Switch and PC. The Smurfs 2: The Prisoner of the Greenstone is out on current and next-gen PlayStation and Xbox, Switch, and PC. The Talos Principle is out on next-gen consoles and PC. Thirsty Suitors is out on pretty much everything, current and next-gen Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. Then Vampire Masquerade Justice is out for PlayStation VR 2 and Quest. And then Friday for the Switch, we have WarioWare Move It. On DVD this week, starting today, you can get Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. If you've listened to this podcast, you understand and know that I fell asleep in this movie. That is not to be confused with the quality of the film, as it was still a good movie from what I saw. I fell asleep because I was just tired. Blue Beetle, I also saw. It was really good. Teared up a little bit. But it's a good movie. And Zolo Mardueña really, really did great as Jaime Reyes. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 is out, if you're at all interested in that. And also on DVD is the Liam Neeson vehicle, Retribution. Digitally, Paw Patrol The Mighty Movie is out. And then in theaters this Friday is Priscilla, and I think that's limited release, so if you're wanting to see that, you may have to search around. But that is the quick hits for the Nerd News Podcast. Today I'm going to talk about I finished Spider-Man 2. I'll go over that. I'll talk about what I think is going to be the game of the year and what things could potentially also win. And then just some other stuff that we can get to when we get to it. So we'll take a break here on the Nerd News Podcast, and I'll be right back.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. At TechD_Rob. This is the Nerd News Podcast.
Hey, if you're not using the new AceTJ Family app to watch or listen to this podcast, what are you doing? Go download it. You can get it at acetj.com/app or wherever you want in your app store. Search AceTJ Family. You'll find it there as well. But it is easy to find at acetj.com/app if you prefer to do it that way. It'll point you in the right direction. And not only are you getting the normal podcasts of the Ace and TJ show, you're not only going to get this podcast, you're going to get the TJ and Jody's House podcast. You're going to get the Week in Review podcast, which comes on every Friday. It's a neat little package for you just to intake the Week in Review or to share it with your friends. And, of course, Ace's Meaningful Meeting that usually happens on Wednesdays. So you can check it all out on the Ace TJ Family app that is now available. And, might I say, rave reviews. People love it. And you will too. So, acetj.com/app for the Ace and TJ Family app. So, first, let's get into some rumors. Well, it's not really a rumor. Capcom has announced that there is an unannounced, so they've announced that there's an unannounced thing coming, I believe it was March 2024. I wrote this off of memory, and I probably shouldn't do that. But March 2024, an unannounced major Capcom title is coming. Now, Major tells me it's one in a series. It tells me it's probably not a new IP, though it could be. I could be wrong. But I feel like we're looking at one of the following. Either Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which I didn't even think of, but I posted this in the Discord with my friends, and that was one of my friends' first reactions, and that's a good call. It's been a while since there's been a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Devil May Cry 6. Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil 5 Remake. I'm sorry, that's not 5. I hope they don't do a Resident Evil 5 remake. I meant Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. Mega Man X remake or remaster or just, please, anything Mega Man, I'll take it. Dead Rising 5 is a potential. And, of course, Monster Hunter 6 is also a potential. I would assume if it's being released in March, we'd know something about it fairly soon, you would think, but you never know. They could be doing a day and date drop for the first time ever. So it's not. I mean, we'll find out something sooner rather than later about that. So NetherRealms, you probably you probably know them for the Mortal Kombat series. They have added DLC to Mortal Kombat 1 that you'll pay $12 for, which you think, $12 isn't bad for DLC. But wait. This DLC is a special Halloween-themed fatality. And that's it. For $12. Now, I don't mind that they're putting fatalities in microtransactions. Whatever you want to do, it's not something that's necessary to the game. And even a fatality, you can go watch it on YouTube and see what's up with it. I don't care. That part I get. But $12 is steep for a single fatality. It just doesn't make sense to me, in all honesty. It seems like way too much. Now, next on my list is to talk about is Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, bear with me. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! If you used to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have some thoughts. The game sucks, and I'll be honest with you, it was fun at the time, but looking back, it sucked when I played it too. But it was fun. But I'll tell you what was the most fun in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was winning with Exodia, the Forbidden One. If you're not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I don't remember the deck sizes. It's either 40 or 60 card deck. It's different in every card game, and I cannot remember what Yu-Gi-Oh! Employed. But the deal was 5 of the cards in your deck were the pieces of Exodia. The head, the right arm, the left arm, the right leg, the left leg. When you had all 5 cards in your hand, you won the game. As long as they're all in your hand. Which is easier said than done, obviously. Or if it wasn't, this would be like the way everybody tried to win the game. But you're going to play cards that draw cards for you. You're going to play cards that get stuff back from your graveyard. All these different things. And new Yu-Gi-Oh! Has added so many different ways to do these, to facilitate this, that someone was able to pull it off, I believe, on their first turn of the game. It may have been the actual first turn of the game. But they won a major Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament with it. And the internet is loving it. Because, first of all, this isn't how people are going to win big tournaments for Yu-Gi-Oh! Often. So when it happens, it's fun. I enjoy it a lot. So, that's cool. Next on my list to talk about, Xbox is potentially shooting themselves in the foot. So, some people are getting a message when they plug in their third-party peripherals. If you plug in something and you see the following message: a connected accessory is not authorized. Using unauthorized accessories compromises your gaming experience. For this reason, the unauthorized accessory will be blocked from use on November 12th, 2023. So we're really approaching November 12th very quickly. And people who are getting this aren't going to be able to use these peripherals anymore. So somebody just assumed this was a mistake. There was like, there's no way this is what not Wizards. I just saw an email from D&D Beyond. There's no way this is what Xbox meant. But alas, a spokesperson, this is from IGN, or maybe it was Kotaku, one of those two sites. A spokesperson for Microsoft confirmed the ban will soon go into effect and said it's for performance, security, and safety. And then they went on to say, Microsoft and other licensed Xbox hardware partners' accessories are designed and manufactured with quality standards for performance, security, and safety. Unauthorized accessories can compromise the gaming experience on Xbox consoles, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Players may receive a pop-up warning that their accessory is unauthorized. Eventually, the unauthorized accessory will be blocked from use to preserve the console gaming experience. Now, there's no doubt that they did this to alleviate some of the cheating methods that some of these people are using. But it's either complete oversight or just complete audacity that they have decided to do this and just completely make irrelevant. What is that? I don't know if you saw that, but did that come up? I had a little thought bubble. What in the world? What was that? I don't know if it showed up on the video here, but there was a thumbs up coming out of my head. I don't know if it didn't show up and I just look like a madman. But anyway, I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot with this. Simply because it can mean that you buy this console for your son. You buy a cheap little... that you can't afford all these nice peripherals. It's fine. It usually does. It doesn't matter. They're getting to play the video games. They get to do it. You get them an older game, save some money. I get it. Video games is not a cheap hobby, and I get some people are going to cut corners. Xbox doesn't care, it seems. Now, if it's easy to get these authorizations or whatever from these accessories through Microsoft, then great. Then it's going to help the community of video games. But if they're just doing this to strong arm people into buying Xbox accessories, it's crap. And I think this is where my Xbox goodwill will cease. I've been an Xbox fan since the 360. Even though the 360s had the red ring of death. And, that helped nobody. That helped their image not at all. I mean, they fixed it a lot, but the Xbox One was a great console. I love my Xbox One S. I have one here, an Xbox One X in the living room. I love my Xbox consoles. But if this is a ploy for them to drain even more money from people, when they're trying to pretend that they're the company that's going to save you money with the Xbox Game Pass, it's crap. And I will be far more likely to purchase from PlayStation in the future. Now, does it affect me? No, I have no Xbox accessories that are not authorized accessories. I love Xbox brand stuff, but it is not... And look, I don't take a stand on many things, but this is a slippery slope. They start getting away with stuff like this, then they start charging more for the controllers. It's kind of like an Apple situation. They get you in the environment, they get you in that system where you're going to want to use their stuff, and they're going to just keep upcharging and charging more. It's bad. It's bad news if that's where this is starting. I mean, and again, I could just be overreacting, but we'll soon see. I know that to be true. So finally, the last two things I want to talk about. Spider-Man 2. Incredible game. Loved every minute of it. But it was far too short. I don't remember the first game being this short. Maybe I'm wrong. I probably could have looked up this information beforehand, but I felt like Spider-Man 1 was significantly longer. Now, I will say there was a point in it that I just wanted to finish the story so I could know that is done and just play at my leisure. I don't remember. I don't even however you want to say it. And maybe that's why it seemed shorter. I don't know. I'll check some time comparisons here in a little bit. But I just feel like it was shorter. Was it great? Incredible story. Loved it. And that is why it is in the discussion for Game of the Year. And that is a segue, is what we call that in the radio business. But the Game of the Year discussion is very limited to me. I think it's between very few games. For me, it's between two. For me, it's between Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom. Now, for me personally, it's Baldur's Gate 3. But I could understand if somebody wanted to say it was Tears of the Kingdom. It's a great game. It is the only reason to own a Nintendo system. I mean, Super Mario Wonder might be really... I've heard it's really, really good. But I just can't spend $60 on a Mario game like that anymore. It's just not... It doesn't make sense to me. So, those are my two. Now, other names of games that are in this discussion include Spider-Man 2. It's a great game. And I'm sure once I play some more of these side missions, it fleshes it out a little bit more, and I'll enjoy it more than I currently do. The story is impeccable. I loved every minute of the story. It was perfect. It could have done with more, and this isn't a spoiler, but if it kind of is, I could have done with more Venom. Venom is he's my favorite Spider-Man character. I love Spider-Man, but Venom is my favorite Spider-Man character. I've always loved the character. And there just wasn't enough of Venom. I don't think anyway. Maybe other people, maybe it's because I love the character so much. But either way, I just felt like there wasn't enough of that character in the game. Another game on the list, early game, Hogwarts Legacy, early in the year. Having played it, I enjoyed it a lot. But after games like Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4 Remake came out, I just can't put Hogwarts Legacy in this discussion anymore. So that leads me to another one I just brought up, Resident Evil 4, the remake. Great game. Loved Resident Evil 4. I haven't beaten the remake yet, but it's still the best Resident Evil experience. The best Resident Evil story, well, maybe not story, but best Resident Evil video game. I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, though. Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village were incredible games. And if I hadn't played them already, I might purchase them for the iOS. It seems like an interesting way to play those games. But that is not the last game on this list. And the last game on this list is a game that I was super hyped for. It's called Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The game was fun. But after playing, I don't know, maybe 10 hours, if that, not even 10 probably. After that little bit of time, it didn't feel as fun as the first one. The magic wasn't there anymore to me. The game didn't seem bad. I just needed more reason to continue playing, and I didn't find it. Again, the game's not bad. I don't know, but there's something... The it factor of that game wasn't there. So, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today on the Nerd News Podcast. I appreciate you joining me. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. The day this is going up, there may be a special stream, and I will host it on my channel as well. But there's a special stream. I may be playing an escape room video game with one of my Dungeons and Dragons friends. At the behest of another of my Dungeons & Dragons friends. It's a 2-player game, but I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But be on the lookout. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, TechD_Rob on all of those platforms. You can follow me there. Follow the Ace and TJ Show at the Ace TJ Show on pretty much any platform you can think of. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere. And then make sure you go download that Ace and TJ family app. It is acetj.com/app to get that app and enjoy the show. Enjoy this product that we bring to you every day, Monday through Friday. You get 3 full hours of the Ace and TJ show. You get 45 minutes of extra funny, and if you are a Prime Plus subscriber, you get the extra funny segment. You get the 5G podcast every day, which nobody else gets but Prime Plus members. And Riggins does a special thing on Monday nights on there. So there's more content coming every day to the Ace and TJ family app. Make sure you download it, acetj.com/app. I am Tech D Rob, and I will see you next week.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next.